Dear teachers, we have seen tremendous changes in technology where improvement has been made in many areas. And we have seen many changes in many areas like business, entertainment, transport, in education as well. When we look into the education field, technology has made a new way in which teaching and learning has been simplified. There are many ways that technology has brought in evolution into the way we teach and learn today, especially in this digital era. We have seen learning has been changing from the way we used to learn under a tree, for instance, those days during our parents and our old fathers, to the time when we came to a place where we were in a classroom, a forward classroom. But again, the internet era has brought many ways we can be able to learn today. There is no time, there is no need of going to the class again. I can just sit at home and be able to learn myself and understand everything from the internet itself. So we are moving from the way we learn in a physical classroom to a way we learn in an online environment, where we have to incorporate many changes and again be able to learn the different pedagogies that are involved in the process of learning. So to be able to implement these changes, we teachers have to be prepared and be able to know what we want to do and be able to set objectives on how we have to reach where we want to go. So if we look into UNESCO's framework, UNESCO has highlighted 4 important factors that any institution or any country or any government that insists on or puts efforts in implementing ICT in teaching and learning has to have or put in place. So one of the factors that UNESCO has highlighted is that there should be a national policy on ICT, which will actually be putting guidance and ways through which ICT can be implemented in that particular country or that particular organization. So in Tanzania we have one. We have ICT policy that was initiated in 2007, which again was modified and redefined in 2016. But again, the second point that UNESCO highlights is the presence of infrastructure. So infrastructure could be either things like computers, could be things like projectors, internet connectivities, or some other tools like printers or scanners in your school or department, all of which will be helping you be able to navigate and be able to complete all the activities that are required to be done by your institution or by your school or by yourself towards improving the way you teach by using technology in your classroom. So the third point that UNESCO insists is capacity building for teachers and administrators in general. So you as a teacher, you need to be trained, be exposed to some pedagogies that you'll be using whenever you're implementing your teaching and learning practices in your classroom. So we have seen the government has put several efforts. Some of you might have received some training related to ICT, the basics, the skills, and some administrators have also been able to receive some trainings on ICT and administration in general. But then how much have we been able to implement these efforts that the government has put, and how much have we been able to apply or that we have learned back in our trainings into this particular area? So it could be maybe less or it could be something that is measurable. But then we have to look into how best we can be able to use this type of trainings that we have to be able to improve our areas, the way we teach and the way we provide type of training or learning to our students. So the last point that UNESCO highlights is the availability of funds that will be helping learning of the different courses or different activities that are related to the integration of ICT in teaching and learning. So this could be an issue because the governments normally do not set up funds that are required or enough funds to help schools or organizations be able to implement ICT. But then based on the resources that we have in our areas or in our schools, we could be able to do something depending on the level that we are in at. But then since we have efforts that the government is doing plus other stakeholders and other individuals in implementing ICT in teaching and learning, we have to embrace these efforts as well. We have seen our government has implemented so many initiatives based on how we can be able to implement ICT in teaching and learning. So one of the initiatives that the government did was actually the introduction of national ICT policy, which is actually the latest is the national ICT policy in education that was devised in 2016. But again, we have seen the government has introduced subjects like ICS, some of which you may be teaching, and some computer studies for A level, which actually are all efforts that help us to be able to integrate technology in our teaching and learning. But another effort, we have seen some of your schools have been able to receive some ICT equipments, some computers, projectors, laptops. In some other schools have received tablets as well. But then we have to ask questions like how much have we been able to use these tools in our schools, in our environment to improve the way we help our students be able to learn in a way. Okay, so another thing that the government is implementing is actually how providing capacity building to teachers and inspectors. So some of you might have received some trainings on ICT. These trainings will be either government sponsored, but there could be some other trainings that you have been able to sponsor yourself, or you have put some effort, personal effort in the process where you want to develop yourself professionally. But then these efforts should be able to help you be able to move forward, advancing your ways you deliver your courses, advance your ways you deliver your classes to your students, so that the students get a new experience of learning, and an experience of learning embedded with technology. And technology will help us be able to move forward and be able to see the benefits that the students and we teachers can be able to get in the process. However, we have seen that even schools that have infrastructure, or schools that have teachers who are trained, or schools that have all these funds together put in the place, are not that much implementing ICT. There must be a problem somewhere. Now, what is this problem? It could be that teachers may not be motivated, or it could be that teachers do not have the knowledge that is required for them to be able to do. But it could be also the teachers believe themselves that, oh, maybe I am not able to do this because it looks like a new thing to me to be able to implement this particular type of training. Or it looks like a new thing to me to be able to do something that is related to ICT, given that the fact that you have a training already with you. So these courses actually are designed to help you be able to move forward, move one step ahead of how you can be able to implement ICT in your teaching and learning. So it should be noted that if you can be able to use technology in classrooms effectively, we'll be bringing opportunities for both teachers and students to be able to improve your teaching experience, at the same time helping your students be able to learn in new ways. And these new ways will be bringing some new experiences to our students, which will actually help them be able to move forward in the way they learn, and be able to be innovative, be able to collaborate, be able to work in different environments that will help them prosper in their studies, but in their future endeavor. So there are many advantages of using technology in our teaching and learning. These advantages will be explained next, but then what you have to remember is we have to embrace all these technologies that we have in place and be able to move forward, use them in a way that is effective, and also be able to improve our ways we deliver courses so that technology can be put in place. Many countries in the world have done their part in implementing ICT, but Tanzania has not done that much in the way, and therefore we have to embrace these online courses so that slowly and slowly we'll be improving ourselves and then be able to move forward in a way that we want to do it. So in the next part, we'll be discussing on the importance or advantages of using technology in our teaching and learning, both to you as teachers and to students as learners. You might have thought of the different advantages that you can have when you use technology in your teaching and learning, and these advantages could be to both sides, either the students or the teachers as well. So in this part, we are going to start discussing on the advantages of using technology to both students and teachers all together. So before we start, this is the reflection spot where you have to stop the video and think and write based on this question that is shown here. So there is a question: what are the advantages of teaching your subject using ICT? So here you're required to give 2 advantages to your students and 2 advantages to yourself as a teacher, as well, or why you think ICT is important when you are using it to teach your subject. So stop the video and reply to the question in your notebook. Okay, I'm sure that you have been able to write something down about the points. Now let us see what are the points that would have come up from all your notebooks. So in the first place, when you speak of ICT in the teaching and learning, especially on the side of students, it helps in skills development. So in this way, you can be able to help develop the skills such as typing skills, editing skills, formatting skills, in some cases grammatical errors, punctuations and pronunciations. So skill development is one of the advantages that students get to know in the process when they use technology in teaching and learning. Another advantage is sharing of resources. When we are working with ICT devices, students will be able to learn the different ways you can be able to share the resources in the online environment. Therefore, one of the ways through which you can do that is by exposing them to different ICT tools that will help them be able to develop their skills of networking and sharing. Another advantage is it helps in improving engagement. So whenever we are using or integrating technology in teaching and learning, involving the students, they'll be engaged because this looks like a new opportunity for them to make learning more fun and enjoyable, and therefore
they become very sensitive and engaged in the process when they have to participate and share their knowledge in the process. So another part where it's important is in improving knowledge and retention. So as we use technology in teaching and learning, it encourages active participation. Students become actively participating in the classroom in the sense that they have to share, they have to participate, and they have to ask questions wherever possible because they find that this is a new thing which is important and interesting for them to be able to know. So in this way, the ability to be able to retain knowledge in their heads and be able to remember these technologies and tools they are learning becomes easier and much more simple for them. Another advantage of using technology in your classroom is it encourages individual learning. In some cases, students, whenever they get some knowledge about some topics or some issues, they can be able to learn on their own, at their own pace, anytime, wherever they have, and they can also be able to retain the knowledge that is required. So technology can provide such opportunities, even for differently enabled students with special attention or special needs can also be able to learn at their own pace because they can be able to sit and use the technology as much as they can. And last advantage on the side of students is it encourages collaboration. So in many cases, whenever you give activities for students to be able to cooperate, you'll be able to see that students will be more interested and they may be able to share and collaborate in completing all the activities that you give them. Therefore, technology can encourage collaboration with students in the same way, in the same class, maybe in the same school, or even around the world. So one student can be in Arusha region and the other one can be in Mtwara region, but because you're using technology in between them, they could be able to collaborate and share resources in the process. So now let us see the benefits of the last benefit of advantage to students. This could be an opportunity to learn some music skills. And these skills are what we call the 21st century skills, which are the skills that we need to know about what students need to know in this century. So one of the skills that is commonly required for students is collaboration and teamwork, where students have to work together and come up with something that is tangible. Then creativity and imagination. So you have to allow students to be able to be creative, to create some artifacts, and be able to imagine of the world that is around them. So students have also to be able to think critically and solve problems that are around them. So all these skills will be brought about whenever they navigate or play with different technologies that you can be able to introduce in your classroom. Now, on the side of teachers, there are many advantages as well. So teachers can use technology in the classrooms to help be able to improve the ways they can be able to teach and help the students learn better. And also technology can help free up teachers' time previously. So you don't have to use a lot of time in your administration tasks. It allows you to be able to set time to be able to help your students in much more ways, important ways, in much more simple ways than the ways you can be able to use when you are in a normal classroom. And again, teachers and students across the world can benefit from personalized teaching and learning because you can be able to learn at your own, you can be able to do your activities alone in the online environment, and therefore personalization becomes a very good thing with technology.